Okay guys, so we're going to be solving systems of linear equations by graphing. Keep in mind throughout this video that what a system is two equations. So basically we're going to be solving two equations by graphing them. So to solve a system of linear equations by graphing, we are going to graph the lines of both equations on the same coordinate plane. The solution to the system of equations is the point where your two lines cross. So when we talk about solution, we're talking about the point that works for both lines. So to graph linear equations given in slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b, the one we're used to seeing it in, we are going to plot the y-intercept first, just like we did in the last unit, and then move from there using our slope, or the rate of change, to find the other points on the line. To graph equations given in standard form, that's the one that we saw on last night's homework. Oh, I don't need to write form twice. So to graph them in standard form, that's when x and y are on the same side of the equation. All we're going to do is rewrite them in slope-intercept form, like we practiced. So the first example down at the bottom of this page is y equals negative 2x plus 5 and y equals x minus 4. So both these equations are in slope-intercept form, so I don't need to rewrite them. I can just start by graphing them. So I'm going to start by graphing negative 2x plus 5. So use your first color to do that. So we're going to start by graphing the y-intercept. So I start with $5. My slope tells me that I'm losing $2 every week. So I'm going to go down 2 over 1 every week. Down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And we want to do as many points as possible. We want to fill up the graph with points because we're going to be looking for the one point both these lines have in common. We can also work backwards. There's our first line. We'll connect the points with a line. Then we're going to take our second color and plot the next line. So the next line has a y-intercept of negative 4. And the rate of change, or the slope, is 1, which tells me that I'm gaining $1 every week. So I'm going to go up $1 every 1 week. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. And so I see right now that my two lines, let's connect those points with a line. My two lines connect at this point right here. So the solution is the point where the two lines cross. That point that I circled is the point 3, negative 1. So that's my solution. I can check that by plugging in 3 for x, because it's the x coordinate of my point, and negative 1 for y to both systems, and I should get a true statement. So if I take my first equation and put negative 1 in the place for y, and if I put 3 in the place of x, I should get a true statement. So I want to see, is negative 1 equal to negative 2 times 3 is negative 6 plus 5? Yes, negative 1 is equal to negative 6 plus 5, so that works. Then I want to check it in my second equation because it should make both equations true. So I'm going to plug in negative 1 for y, and I'm going to plug in 3 for x, and I'm going to see if this is a true statement. Is negative 1 equal to 3 minus 4? Yes, it is. So this solution works for both equations. So for the next system, I can see that both equations are written in standard form, meaning x and y are on the same side. So I want to start off by rewriting them in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take the first line, 2x minus 3y equals 6. And I'm going to rewrite that in slope-intercept form. So I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, giving me negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. And I'm going to divide everything by negative 3 to get y by itself. So positive y is equal to negative 2 divided by negative 3 is a positive 2/3 x. And then 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. Then I'm going to take my second equation and write that in slope-intercept form. So I have 4x plus y equals negative 2. So I'm going to have to subtract the 4x from both sides to give me y equals negative 4x minus 2. So with my first color, I'm going to graph y equals 2/3 x minus 2. So that tells me that I start off owing $2. So I'm going to put a dot at negative 2, my y-intercept. And then my slope, or my rate of change, is 2/3, meaning I gain $2 every 3 weeks. So I'm going to count up $2 and over 3 weeks. So my first point is here. From there, I'm going to go up $2 every 3 weeks, up 2 over 3. And I also want to work backwards. So I'm going to go down 2 and back 3, down 2 and back 3. I want to get as many points as I can fit on the graph. So that's my first line. Then with my second color, I'm going to take and plot the second line, y equals negative 4x minus 2. So I'm going to plot the y-intercept, which is negative 2, and then I'm spending $4 every 1 week. So I'm going to go down 4 over 1 and plot that point. And I can stop here because I can already see where the two lines cross. That's my solution. So my solution is at the point 0, negative 2. So my solution is 0, comma, negative 2. And I could check that in both of my equations by plugging in 0 for x and negative 2 for y. And I would get 2 times 0 minus 3 times negative 2. Is that equal to 6? Well, 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 3 times negative 2 is 6. So the point works in the first equation. And then if I plug it into my second equation, 4 times 0 plus negative 2, is that equal to negative 2? I'm just plugging into the equation. 4 times 0 is 0, so yes, negative 2 equals negative 2. So my point works. Okay, if I look at the last example, I see that my first equation is already in slope-intercept form. So the only equation that I need to rewrite is the second one. So I've got 3x minus 3y equals 6. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And I get negative 3y equals negative 3x plus 6. Divide both sides by negative 3. And I get y equals x minus 2. So I'm going to start off by graphing the first equation with my first color. So this is telling me that I owe $6 to start, and I'm getting $2 every week. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, plotting as many points as I can fit. On the graph with a line. And then I'm going to plot my second line, y equals x minus 2, which tells me that I start at negative 2 and gain $1 per week. So I go up 1 over 1, up 1 week, $1 every 1 week. And I see that the two lines cross at the point 4, comma 2. So my solution is 4, 2. And again, I could check that by plugging it in for x and y in both equations, and I should end up with a true statement.